Hello everyone, this is Ron from High Tech Legion.
Skate Eric here.
And this is our new show. It's basically it will be a weekly or bi-weekly show about games primarily, since we're both gamers, PC gaming related mostly, and we'll discuss games, hardware, everything gaming related in the PC world. And we will have regular Q&As every week. We will have news, and we will have our top 5. Right now, since it's our debut show, we don't have any questions submitted yet. We can answer the ones on YouTube, but let's face it, a lot of those are kind of stupid. Well, it's kind of weird when you have to answer the thing and then answer questions that were actually in the video, and people just need to watch the video and they'll have their questions answered. But I mean, we try to answer. We don't hate you guys. We just it just gets annoying answering those questions sometimes. But if you have any questions, comments about games, you can send it to us at review@hightechlegion. Would that be a good email? Yeah, don't sign us up to some free porn site or something. Also, I think it's safe to say that this will be a PG-13 or R-rated video show. So if you're easily offended,
yeah, my vernacular is very, trucker mouth.
So. Yeah, me too. We're pretty we're not blue collar guys, but we act like it. I mean, just as a warning, if you are the kind of person that gets offended by opinions and salty language, I'd suggest go fuck yourself. Okay, all right. Well, we'll start. So let's make this again. No Q&A this week, but if you have any questions, submit to review@hightechlegion. Any questions about game-related stuff, hardware, what video card to buy, and what games what games are coming out. So speaking of that, we'll talk about news. We're recording this October 19th, so this is Friday night. We're recording right now, and this news come out. Battlefield 3's Aftermath expansion pack has just been announced for December 18th release. Now, I know we're both Battlefield 3 players. We played before, Eric. Did you buy the expansion packs? I know this is the 5th expansion pack from the series.
See, it's one of those things where when I invest in expansion packs if it's worth it. For me, with shooter games, you get a couple extra maps, a couple extra guns. It's not anything significant or gameplay changing or like crazy out there. So it's one of those where with shooter games, I really don't invest in fucking expansion packs. I really do.
I don't even know they had 5 already. This is the 5th one, and I know they have the premium. They launched a premium service, which if you buy that, you get the expansion packs for free, and there's basically maps, and I don't know if there's campaigns or anything. But I haven't. I mean, with our busy schedule, I don't think we even have time to play the vanilla. To devote enough time with vanilla, the regular Battlefield 3, and
how many more guns can you pick up to fucking just run around and shoot people with? I mean, I don't get, shooter expansion packs are stupid to me.
Yeah.
They're stupid to me. I can see it in games like MMOs, and
that's mostly.
They extend the gameplay and they have to build onto the world and things like that, but with shooter games, it just, I don't know. By the time they release another expansion pack, there's another shooter out there that was, moved on to.
Definitely. I mean, that's pretty much World of Warcraft is all expansion pack at this point. It's like 99% expansion pack, and that's that game's been out. And I mean, Skyrim. I know they have like 3 expansion packs now. I'm really enticed to get it, but the problem is, of course, it's Skyrim. So, I mean, I will lose like a year of my life at least. So, and
I bought Dawn Guard. I played Dawn Guard all the way through. I mean, the only thing that fucking changed in that game was you can be a vampire now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. That's it. You can be a vampire.
The latest one, I think you can. I forgot what the other one is. You can the second one. I can't remember what it's Heatfire or something. You can build a house, your own house, and you can either tame a dragon or something like that. But I mean, it's all fun. Well, anyway.
Yeah. Skyrim. that's a world in its own. You can just pretty much live there if you want. So.
Yeah, it tickles the ADD part of the brain. Okay, next, this was just announced a few minutes ago. Have you heard of the Hawken? It's a game that's essentially a kind of like a MechWarrior type. I think it's set somewhere in the future where the people are in these robots and you just basically it's like a shooter meets fighter game, but a first person. But I know there's another NVIDIA title that's upcoming that has PhysX support, and they have just announced they're giving away the beta key for these. So I'm probably gonna put the link somewhere in the bottom, and so users can just submit there. I don't know if I mean I don't have time to sign up for betas. When was the last time you participated in a beta? I know I get it all the time.
Yeah, all I used to do was fucking beta tests. I mean that I used to never buy games. I would just jump from beta.
Yeah, beta. Yeah.
That's pretty.
I used to, but the thing is that here, I mean, I like for those who don't know, I live in Canada where we have ridiculous bandwidth caps. Eric is in Wisconsin. How is your internet there? They don't have any caps or anything.
No. We have Time Warner. I mean, it's shitty, but we don't get capped. I've been able to endlessly. Yeah,
I've heard bad things about Time Warner, but yeah, I don't think they cap. And here they do. It's pretty ridiculous. I mean, my internet is 25 gigabytes a month, and I just pay extension, so it keeps extending. When I started as a reviewer, I just had that 25 gigs, and I eventually every year I kept on adding until now I have like 100 gigs. So, I mean that's still pretty bad because I can't Netflix. Yeah, can't do anything. I mean, email reviews alone are like 30 gigs at least, and then going back to the topic beta. I mean, the last one I had, I think was Battlefield 3. I think that was the last. I even reviewed it for iCheck. That was probably the last beta I did before that Medal of Honor. But other than that, there's so many good games coming out and that are coming out in regular intervals that you don't really need the beta. I mean, unless you don't want to pay, you don't want to buy. Yeah.
The last beta I did, I think it was the Champions Online before they released that. It was one. That of those. I know.
See, because I know you're a big MMO guy, and I only know MMOs like just from proximity, just from PC gaming in general. I know. Is that World of Heroes? Is that from the same world, different manufacturer?
I don't even remember. I know the same guys that did City of Heroes.
Yeah. But it's a different world. Like if you bought City of Heroes, is it the same world? Like do you go into do you interact with people who bought City of Heroes, or is it a different game?
It's kind of the same game, kind of different. I mean, it's more cartoony. I would say City of Heroes or Champions Online is more cartoony compared to City of Heroes, which is more like superhero-y.
Yeah.
So
I actually got enticed when I saw that DC Online. Because I haven't subscribed to an MMO before. But I saw the trailer for DC Online. I was like, oh, okay. But then I just remembered, I don't like DC characters. So, and plus you don't really get to play. It's not like you get to play Superman or Batman. You're like some nobody, and you're just seeing Superman fly once in a while, I guess.
Yeah, DC Online is like kind of if you played the that new Star Wars one, Knights of the Republic or whatever the hell it's called online. It's just like that. It's pretty much like a single player game where you just you make your character, you play through the story they lay out. You can join in with other people if you want, but you don't have to. And you pretty much play straight through to the end. Yeah. And then at the end, if you want to raid, you can raid. If you don't, you don't have to. I mean, it's I would call it a single player game / MMO, where you don't have to really jump in if you don't want to.
You just farm all day. Anyway, so that's it. Just Hawken Beta giving away right now. I'll put a link again there if you're interested. And speaking of new releases, the big release currently is Dishonored, which is, of course, Bethesda, as we just professed our love for Skyrim. Bethesda, I mean, they didn't develop this one. They actually just published it, right? This is from, I believe, Arcane Studios. And it's one of these where it's kind of like a high concept. It reminds me a lot of Bioshock instead of there's a specific art direction it follows. It doesn't necessarily try to be have realistic graphics. There's a little bit of cartoonishness in there, and it's kind of like a steampunk kind of thing, but it's like I think set in Victorian London. I haven't played it yet. I might buy it tomorrow. I'll check it out and then I'll probably play it. But did you buy it? Are you interested in it at all?
I haven't gotten on it yet, but I've heard great things about it. So I think I might run out and get it, maybe next week or something.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot. Either it's cross between BioShock and Thief.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like a Thief stealth game, but then set in more like a steampunky era type thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty dope. So we'll see.
That's weird because I saw when I first saw it, I saw the trailer and I thought it's steampunk. And then my brother, he's a big gamer too, but he's read it. He didn't see the trailer. He just read it. He said, "Is that the game where the rats took over the city?" I'm like, well, it's a steampunk. What's that? And that actually was the explanation why everyone was in stilts, was because the rats took over this kind of like an alternate Victorian London era town.
That's my wife.
Hi. Well, usually just for viewers, usually we'll have cameo appearances by primarily Sora. She's sleeping right now. Eric's daughter, right? Is she in bed?
I get her to bed at like 7. So
yeah, she's a big gamer too. Anyway, back.
She's 11 months old and she likes USB devices. So.
Hey, yeah.
Choose on.
Yeah, Dishonored, Bethesda is out right now. I'm about 60-60. I don't know, because I know Bethesda games. I know Bethesda just published it, but usually I get really into it. Like I will lose hours of time in a day. I don't think I can devote that much time.
Bethesda, they invest in games that set like a world and depth. So there's always a huge story. There's always a shitload of things to do. Like they don't really invest in games that are just kind of play through in 5 minutes and throw it in the trash. So they do good. I mean, I've played Bethesda games all the way since like Daggerfall, and it's just every game has been golden.
Yeah, because I mean my gaming history is kind of cut off because I late 90s I was a heavy gamer, and then somewhere in between until 2006 I had like this like dark ages where I didn't play anything, and I just after that 2007 that's when I started back playing all the games, and then that's why I didn't experience Deus Ex. I know I just heard about these games. Thief, I never actually played them until much later on. And speaking of Bethesda, another Bethesda title came out today. It's actually Doom 3 BFG Edition. I didn't even know this was coming out. It was essentially a remake of the Doom 3, which is again came out during my dark period. I didn't have a computer back then. I know. I just remember people weren't able to run this game because I would go into Best Buy and computer stores, and there's like a poster where it says, "Can you run Doom 3?" in like every single store. So that was the benchmark. There was Unreal 2004 and this one, I believe. Oops, sorry. And so that was pretty much it. I don't know if you played Doom 3.
Oh, Doom 3, yeah, I still have the box probably in my closet over here. But yeah, Doom 3, when that came out, that was a system killer. That was an upgrader. Yeah. That was, God, I don't even remember. I think I upgraded to my 7900 GT. No, it was before that. It was the one right before that. I think it was like a 4600 or something like that, an NVIDIA card. But yeah, I mean that was a system killer. If you didn't have a good system, you weren't running the game. People were upgrading to play it.
Yeah, and it was a John Carmack game too, so it was pretty optimized. It's not like these games. It's not like Crysis or Metro, where it's basically killing your hard drive, your video card for no reason. It's like really, it's in high setting and it's killing my card, and I don't see the performance. It was a well optimized game for its time too. I heard. I haven't tried it myself, but Doom 3 BFG Edition, published by Bethesda. So again, Bethesda is probably raking in the cash right now. And speaking of old games remade, this will be the topic of our top 5. The segment of our top 5. Weekly, we will have a top 5 topic that we discussed. We count down. No, I don't know Eric's top 5. I didn't. I think I've hinted at him what my top 5 is, but I haven't. So we'll alternate between. I'll start. We'll have my first top 5 is actually. I don't know if the criteria is that it has to be at least 10 years older. It has to be. I mean, it can't be a classic if it's just like I know some like Fallout 3 can be probably considered a classic later on. It's a modern classic, but technically it's not a classic until it's over 10 years old. My number 5.
10 years old and still playable.
And still playable. Like if you can play it right now, you will enjoy yourself. That's the criteria right now. So. No One Lives Forever. I don't know if you've heard of this game. It's essentially a spy game. It was a first-person shooter. It had a female protagonist named Kate Archer, and it's basically a James Bond type parody. Before this was, I don't know if this was before Austin Powers. This was released November 9, 2000. So I'm not sure about the timeline of Austin Powers and this one, but it was essentially this. And I'm actually surprised because this was did you know the Shonen FX is called Archer? It's kind of like that, but it's like a chauvinist James Bond type. And I was surprised that they used the name Archer because this game was essentially has the agent's name as Archer, and they kind of followed around the similar parody comedic style, but of course Archer on FX is a little bit more darker. So I'm hoping that this franchise actually gets revived. So I don't know if it will if it will eventually, because I know it's an old game. I mean 2000, that's a long time ago, and I know the company released like a third game after that. I forgot the title. It was so bad that it kind of killed the company. They had Don't Live Forever 2 after this one. They were successful as well, but the third title they had was just complete bombs. It was just nobody bought it. So what's your number 5?
All right, the only MMO I have on my list right now. It's Star Wars Galaxy, but right now you can still play it, but it's through people hacking it and redoing the engine, and it's called as Star Wars Galaxy Emulator. So you can find people that are serving it, but it's pretty much the original when Star Wars Galaxies was released. You get all the original classes, all the original stuff before fucking Sony just completely like shit on the game. So
around what year was this released? Just so we can get an idea of what system.
Star Wars Galaxies, God, I think that was 2002. Yeah, I think it was exactly 10 years ago that it was released. From this month, maybe November, or maybe back in July. But yeah, I remember I was in college. I was going to college for computer networking, and that's when Star Wars Galaxies was released, and it was just, that was, I still benchmark all MMOs to that game just because of the depth that was in that game and the shit you didn't see anywhere else.
I know.
Player housing.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I know I've lost a few friends to that game. I know. I have some friends that I just drop off, and they're like, "Where have you been?" I played World of Warcraft for like 3 years, and that was basically. I've heard about that game, and I know a lot of people are kind of cynical with the Star Wars franchise games because people see it as a money grab essentially, and this one is actually a very good title. And I know they also have that Star Wars first person shooter game that came out around that time period. It was you actually get to use a lightsaber. That was one of those things where everyone was playing it around that time.
Oh, the other Star. Well, I know the Knights of the Old Republic, the RPG came out like right after the.
Yeah, it was much later on.
It was like maybe the next year or something like that.
Yeah. I think Jedi Knight. Jedi Knight, I think, is the name of that. It was like one of the future universe things. Yeah. No, all right.
I know what I played.
See, because now I get reminded of all these classic games, but I can't add it to the list now. But I don't know. It's good enough, but I don't think it breaks into my top 5. Jedi Knight. Yeah. Honorable mention. All right, so number 4. This one I still play today. I still play the expansion pack. I don't think I play the multiplayer as much, but the single player campaign, just for kind of brain exercise. That I like strategy games and I like RTS, but this one takes the cake because There's a little bit of campiness on it. It's funny, and there's a little bit of darkness in it too. Red Alert 2. Well, essentially inspired by the Patrick Swayze classic of Red Dawn, of course, which is also being remade into a new movie. Red Alert 2, for those who don't know, essentially the Russians take over the States and war breaks out. That's pretty much it. It's a strategy game based on that. One side is Russian, one side is American, and of course the expansion pack is Yuri's Revenge, where the psychic mastermind behind, spoiler alert, it's a 12-year-old game, so it doesn't matter.
Wasn't that the one? Couldn't you nuke in that one? I don't remember.
Yeah. If you're Russian, you can nuke. Americans has the chronosphere where you can, because they have Einstein.
Oh, yeah.
So that's good. Alternate universe. Yeah. Einstein created this thing where you can travel back in time. You can a certain area, so you can reach your point that way, or you can move it around the map easily. That was October 23rd, 2000, the first Red Alert 2. So, how about you? What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Deus Ex, the original one.
Yeah.
It kind of redefined the shooter. Like you could hack, you could skill up. You can approach a game in more than one way. You could be the stealth guy. You could be the run and gun guy. I mean that to me was like one of the turning points between like the first person shooter and like the first person kind of RPG shooter, that sort of thing. So yeah, for me, Deus Ex, you can still play it today, and it's still holds up.
Yeah, actually,
the graphics are shitty, but that's about it.
Yeah, I bought Deus Ex Human Revolution after I reviewed it. Right, I bought it, and then I got it was basically a Deus Ex discount pack. I got the first Deus Ex and the second Deus Ex and the Human Revolutions on Steam, but I haven't sat down and played it yet. I keep on hearing, because every time people mention Deus Ex, it's like this. Yeah, it is in the status where, it is basically, it changed gaming during that period. But again, it's during my time where I didn't play anything, so I couldn't. I have to go back. I really have to spend time with that game, because it sounds like something revolutionary. That also reminds me of another game that I didn't put in my list, but I should have. I'm not gonna break because it might be on your list, so we'll go the runoffs later on. We'll see if we forgot to mention any games or something that deserves the top 5 that we didn't mention. My number 3, this one is technically the first PC game that I bought on my PC that I bought, because 1996 was the first time I owned a PC, and this game came out from id Software. It is called Quake. And this game I know people, I don't have Doom on my list, because I didn't play that game, and I know people are saying that they had nightmares playing that game. I don't think it matches the nightmares that Quake can give you. Because I mean, Doom, you can't even jump. That's what the annoying thing about Doom, and I don't know, and also it was too cartoony for me. Like, you can tell it was drawn in. I mean, I had a little bit of background in graphic design, so I would look, when I look at games, I look at the pixels and stuff. I can see it, but Quake was sort of the first true 3D game. I mean, before that, there was Duke Nukem, which still, it wasn't really, what was the engine that Duke used? And the limitations with that engine is that you can't have a multi-level design. So a building, you actually can't have 2 levels on top of each other. But, of course, John Carmack, a genius, he designed a Quake engine, and I still get nightmares. I would get nightmares where I'm in the Ziggurat Vertigo level, and it's just crazy. This game, I can't even describe it. It's just, it opened up a lot. Look I was a PC gamer from that. I don't know if you have, where do you rank Quake versus Doom?
See, that's the thing. Doom, I was earlier than that. So when I started with shooters, I was actually Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
That's a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, remember, I've had a computer since, pretty much I was born.
Yeah.
My stepdad was in the computers growing up. So, I got, my first computer was actually a 286.
Oh, wow.
And, I I started upgrading on them. So I played all the old DOS games. I mean, I used to have a subscription to PC Gamer back when they would send you CDs and discs and shit with
before they had CDs back then. I was figured, yeah, they had like floppies.
Yeah, I played games like Duke Nukem when it was a side scroller and Jazz
yeah, the first one. Yeah, that's another classic. That's the Cliff Business. Oh, was it id as well, right? Jazz Rabbit.
The Cliffy and Cliffy V and Apogee.
Yeah. And what's the other one? Around the same time as Jazz Rabbit, it was also id. Captain something. You're like a space.
Oh yeah, Commander Keen.
Commander Keen. Go on, everybody should know these games. These are basically I know a lot of kids that don't even know Quake, and I mean Commander Keen. That's right there, one of the classics. So what's your number 3?
Oh, of course. My number 3 is System Shock 2. It's kind of on the same line
there
as
you go.
PSX.
Yeah.
It was one of those shooters that kind of it blended. It was the original shooters that blended the role playing. You can upgrade abilities with the shooter, but on top of it, System Shock 2 added the survival horror. It kind of put that genre into it, where you mix Doom now, or one of those type of games, and it was at the time it was right up there with it. It didn't hit hard, I guess, with the mainstream public, but all us like hardcore gamers, we knew about it, we played it, we kind of still use it as a benchmark of games today, especially shooters and survival horrors and things like that. Yeah, that's my number 3, System Shock 2.
That's what
I'm a shooter at.
Yeah, that is what when I mentioned earlier that your number 4 reminded me of a game. This was what it reminded me of. So Deus Ex reminded me of System Shock 2. Again, I forgot to put it on my top 5 list. It deserves it, but I know you're going to mention it because this is one. Unlike Deus Ex, I actually went back and played this one because I had enough. I was with my friends. They were always bugging me. Oh, Deus Ex, go play Deus Ex. System Shock, go play System Shock. And I actually sat down, played System Shock. I don't know, 28 hours straight. I finished the game without stopping. It was that good. It was really good. And this was later on. This was 2007 or something. I can't. So it still holds up. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I played now, it holds up. The graphics might be a little bit old, but I mean the storyline, everything was great. It was intelligent too. I love games that don't treat you like an idiot. They kind of want you to reach that level. They don't just spoon feed you. These new Call of Duty games, where it's essentially held right click so that you move your arm. I mean, it's so ridiculous how dumbed down these games are. There's no challenges in them anymore. Essentially, unless you play multiplayer.
Well, the story is always the same in all those stupid Call of Duty
games.
It's getting attacked by a terrorist. Who's the terrorist this time? Let's go get him.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Call of Duty 4 was great, but after that, Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare, Black Ops is just ridiculous. It's like Michael Bay level. The first one was it was smart. It was actually plausible, the story. But I mean, compared to something like this one, this was a sci-fi game. And I wasn't a big sci-fi guy, but I played System Shock 2, and it was fantastic. So again, if you can find it easily in Steam, yeah. All right, my number 2. This one again. I'm not a big RTS fan, and I was struggling between this one and Age of Empires. But this one I probably played a lot more because since we also played it in our computer labs in high school when our school got new computers, and we would install these stealthily on all the machines and we would play StarCraft. March 31, 1998. It was a lot of memories with this game. It was funny because we would go to the business labs and we would install these StarCraft and all these machines, and it would be really quiet, and then one event, my classmate just stood up and just said, fucking nuked your ass in the middle of class. We were all wearing headsets. Nobody was supposed to know that we were playing, and he couldn't hold his excitement that he actually exclaimed it. And then we got busted after that. We were installing it on the network and on the systems to play it. And what is your number 2?
Yeah, my number 2 is Diablo 2. That game.
Another Blizzard game? Yeah.
Yep, that game came out, I think it was 2000, around there, like right after I got out of high school. And fucking, that took up months of my life. I was in my parents' basement. I didn't leave. BattleNet consumed my fucking life.
Yeah. Another game where I lost a lot of friends in. Yeah, they basically they were just selling swords on eBay, selling items on eBay. That's pretty much it. I had a friend who had was holding on to the sword that was worth like $3,000. I don't even know what it was. He kept on telling me about it. He said the price is gonna go up, and then eventually, nobody played it anymore. He didn't sell it.
And I think with don't they have it now where like you can buy like 2 and 3 together or something? They have some kind of
because I haven't played it online. I played, was it Diablo 1? They didn't have multiplayer, right? It had the
no. Oh wait, yeah. I think one was just a dungeon crawler. It was
They
added BattleNet.
Oh yeah, that was annoying. The random generated map that I would save and then come back. I don't know where I am, and the stupid that was that guy who always like come and stay a while. Like you have to hear that like a million times. Keep on coming back. It's one of those most annoying. We have to make a top 5 most annoying characters in video games. That guy from Diablo 1 will definitely be on it. And
there you go.
My number 1, this is probably in most people's number 1 list. Half-Life, November 19, 1998. This one was just literally coming from Quake and then Half-Life. This one got delayed as well, so it got hyped. Hype was built up for several months before it was released, but when it came out, it was worth it. I know they had to change engines twice. But it was worth it. The AI, just that level alone where there were ninjas. Like I think this was the later on, around 80%. Where they actually hired ninjas to kill you, and you can't hit them. For the first time, there's targets that I can't kill.
Yeah.
On a first-person game.
Yeah. Yeah, Half-Life, it was one of those where it made the first-person shooter epic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it put it on a grand scale. It made it huge, but it had that where you didn't do cut scenes and shit like that. You just kept going with the story, and you just kept going. Yeah,
because Quake didn't have a story. It was basically just game, and then they kind of had a story, but this one actually showed the PC platform as a storytelling device. In the same way that movie is an art form. So that was basically, it took that another level. And, right now we have what's the one that was recently announced? The Black Mesa. Have you played Black Mesa? I know I told you to. You can download it. And have you played the Black Mesa Source recently?
I didn't play the whole thing. I got about an hour into it.
Yeah,
that's as much time as
a couple of things with that is that I get pissed off because it still has that loading screen. It has that loading, and I'm I'm running. I know you're running a high-end system. I'm running a high-end system. It has that loading screen, and it still does that. And also the fact that I don't know why for some reason Source games I can't Skyrim engine I can play that for hours on end, and I can it doesn't matter. But for the older Source engines, I get dizzy after like an hour. So I played it in chunks.
Yeah.
And
well, usually loading screens are going on. I walk out of the room and grab a drink or something. I don't sit around.
Yeah, like the first few minutes is like in a tram scene. It was the most. Right now it's so boring, but back then it was so amazing that you're seeing they're showing you this world and what their new engine and what it's capable of. Mm-hmm. And of course, your number 1.
My number 1's Quake 3 Arena.
Oh yeah, that's big. Yeah, one of those high school games.
Yeah, that's the game that turned basically shooters into tournaments. It's the game that got me into playing, clan playing and league playing, and you name it. That's where the competition came into play, and on a grand scale. Where it was online. You were playing people from everywhere and anywhere, and they started, doing online tournaments with the Cal leagues, and you name it. That's Quake 3 Arena pretty much revolutionized the online multiplayer game, shooter platform in gaming, and you could probably attribute Major League Gaming. None of those guys would be here right now if it wasn't for Arena and like its impact online.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, people still play Quake Live. You can play this in Quake Live. Essentially, it is Quake 3 Arena, and it still gets like millions of people playing it. And I know this was around the same. I'm sorry, what was that?
I said you play for free in your browser now.
yeah, that's how powerful computers are. Back then, we had to go to like a net cafe to play these. And I know this was around, 99, 98? And around the same time, Unreal Tournament. And this was the thing, because I know, me and my friends, there's always a camp. You have to choose between your Unreal guy or a Quake 3 guy. You had to. I know my specialty was Unreal, but I did play Quake 3 Arena, and it was pretty crazy when you're playing. Most kids now they haven't heard of the term Rocket Arena, and that was it. I mean, I saw a gameplay, and it's insane how fast these games get, especially the pro games. And there's a lot of meta games like where there's a lot of mind games that people couldn't even people didn't think that a video game could reach this level of competitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
That is,
that's what I used to. Right after I got out of Quake and that stuff. Yeah, it was when Return to Castle Wolfenstein came out. That's when I got really heavy into clan playing, league playing. I got into Cal leagues, and we do Cal League Invite, and that's when I got really competitive with online gaming. Is right after Quake, and then when Return to Castle Wolfenstein came out. And then from there it was over until I didn't have enough time to do that shit.
I know. During that period, I branched out. Actually, I didn't play much, but I did. Because I worked in an arcade during that period, and it was basically that. I played competitive arcade, Street Fighter, and all those games. And then the only PC games I played were basically Day of Defeat and Counter-Strike from then on. Like when it first started, that's when it was. Because I was perfect time, because I was jaded with Quake and Unreal, and then I was like, isn't there any realistic games? And those mods basically came out and pretty much answered. I mean, those aren't my top 5, but they are classic games now. Technically, still part of our topic here. And that
see, you're limited. There's so many that were like in 03, 04.
Definitely. That's why we had to have that 10-year thing, because I mean, I would have named Fallout 2, and there's even some games that deserve mentioning, but I haven't, Well, we'll do this weekly anyway, so we'll have a top 10, a new top 5, we have a new topic. I'm just surprised that we didn't have an overlap. That's good. Like, we actually covered a broad range of games, especially with the class. I can't believe I forgot System Shock too. Even now I'm forgetting the name, and that is definitely one of the best games ever made. And that's pretty much. I haven't timed our thing yet, but this should be at least a whole show. Now we don't have a Q&A again this episode, but we will have it soon. Just send your questions, comments, review at hightechlegion.com, and we will try to get this out in a regular fashion, because there's no sense for people subscribing to us, to our channel, if they don't get it regularly, if it's just whenever, right? So I don't know. Plus I have to edit stuff in. I'm probably gonna put in some clips and some screenshots of the game so people can see what it looks like, some tutorials here and there, and then maybe Sunday. I'll probably put this up Sunday, because I'm in the middle of something top secret. I can't say what it is. I'm not breaking NDA. I don't want to break NDA, but it is a busy weekend. It is very, very busy.
Yeah.
So I will try to get it out on Sunday. All right, that's pretty much it. And have we settled with a name? Before we go, we should settle with a name.
I don't fucking know, man. Like I said, we can leave it up to you to make suggestions,
Yeah. Well, because the thing, before I put it up, Paul is going to name it. That's why we have to decide. Right now, either Game Talk or HTL Arcade. Although HTL is kind of mouthy, or we can just be like an indie band, the Arcade. I don't know.
Well, you know, you got to figure we got to look into something to see that we're not stealing somebody else's name or whatever. You know, that stupid bullshit.
No, I don't think any of those. I mean, HDL. That will pretty much. I don't think anyone named HDL Arcade, unless Apple has something called HDL Arcade. They're gonna stick their lawyers on us.
Yeah, the arcade term.
Yeah. All right, that's pretty much it. And this is Ron and
Eric
signing off. Again, we don't have a name yet, but by the time this goes up, we'll have a name. I'll put a name in there.
Yeah, Ron will make one up then.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Next Sunday. Definitely we'll be up on Sunday. All right, bye-bye.
All right.